afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you guys are in the world. Welcome back to Dreams Money Can Buy. This is your host Skip from BK, back at it again for season 2. And I had to really work hard for this busy guy right here. I had to send like 4 or 5 emails, but he was one of the first people to get back to me. So major kudos to him. I've known him since like junior high school, but we didn't really know each other, but we knew each other in high school. But I gotta say, his journey, I always knew he was a very social butterfly person. He lights up every room, but his talent in like the event space, which I'll touch on later, is amazing. Give it up for Berto, guys. We're gonna clap it up. Put the clap emoji, like whatever, in here. But Berto, thank you for coming in, bro. Really appreciate it.
Nah, I'm happy to be here, bro. It's been quite a year not being able to create. So.
I know. So before we get into like the history of it, let's talk about how the pandemic has kind of like put Powered by Berto on pause. Like, you've kind of done other things to keep you going, but like how does that work with you?
Yeah, definitely on pause, right? Because I'm a simple 3 events a year type of dude, and then I do other engagements with other people. So my personal stuff, definitely I only did like 1 event before the pandemic started, and I had 2 other joints that I was going to do. And then I had some partnerships that had gotten started that got put on pause. So a lot of things on pause, and then you can't really pick it back up and have that conversation until we really reassess what going out is going to look like after this, right?
So I feel like with you, right, do you kind of get mad when these people be doing like these underground parties that be kind of like, they're not helping, right?
Yeah.
They're not helping at all.
And yeah, one, I don't bang with the underground party vibe. And 2, it's like, well, what the underground party vibe showed me is that people are going to be very comfortable going back to normal. I thought it was going to be like, parties will never be the same. Every party from now on, expect 50% of that, right? But now it's just like, if y'all was really out here risking your life, risking your mama life, risking your grandma life for a vibe, then
they're waiting for a Power by Berto.
I believe it. I believe it because it hit different.
Yeah, but I do have some surprises. I always, when it comes to quotes, when I find quotes that the guest has, I've never let them know that I'm using those quotes.
Oh shit!
Because this is when I'm doing my research. So I think it was like an earlier blog. So it was like, imagine Diddy met James Baldwin at the age of 9. Young and mixy, he moved about city to city, touching the people in the most sincere way possible, aggressively living life and sharing his experiences online. He encouraged others not only to be authentic, but to also give back and support others selfishly. Do you remember who said that?
That's me, boy.
Yeah, man.
That's my word.
This was like an older blog, and I was like really looking up some information for you. And it's like, it's very interesting for people that don't know Berto that he's always been like this, kind of like smooth with his words and his writing pieces. But that was the first one. Second one is,
there's more.
Yeah, there's more. People only support what they contribute to. And I think that's something that when it comes to a lot of things you worked on, when it comes to collaboration events, your events, and like a short-term visual podcast, like, you know how to gather the people. You learn more from a critique than from a compliment.
Yeah, fact.
You've learned a lot from, your first party to like your most recent thing. I feel like everything's evolved each time. And I think the last one is like your introduction, which so I'm not going to say his full name just because I like privacy. So I'm just going to say his first name. You can't find it. So, hey, my name is Berto, but I also go by Berto. No, I said Bertram. I forget.
Yeah.
I've been saying Berto, so cut that. Hey, my name is Bertram, but I also go by Berto, get powered. And this is all in caps, so you can feel like the energy. That's not how I'm so programmed to think Berto. That's respect right there. But I think when I'm thinking of these quotes, you're always so like distinct with how you use words and how you convey a message in like the best way possible. So even when you're a young little lad to even getting older and you got like, look, this is how it is.
Yeah, I wanted to be a writer at once. Like at one point I wanted to be a writer, like doing like blog posts when blogging was like the communication avenue, right? Like me and my homeboy in college, we had a little like a blog about just being young black men from the lens of music and dating and stuff like that. And we did it for a couple months, and it was like,
it was hard to keep up, but it was good. It was good, but it just shows that you're always thinking of not just yourself, but how it can convey to other people and how it can like help. And I feel like it all just, let's start from like you growing up. You're born and raised in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Brooklyn, how that shaped you.
Brooklyn, how that shaped me. Yeah, and you talk about, how I said jumping city to city, right? Like in jumping from city to city, you get to realize how so many people are raised differently, for better or for worse. Like in the city, born in East New York, Was in East New York until about junior high, and then moved to Canarsie, and was in Canarsie for from there on out until I went to college. Um, Shout out to Huddy. Shout out to Brooklyn Tech. How did that really form me? I'm an only child to a single mom.
I wouldn't have known that though. Like how your personality is, you're not really a selfish person. You're very selfless, but you know your boundaries. So.
Yeah, I'm an only child, single mom. At that point, the way I see it, my knack or my desire to create community was out of just like, yo, it's just me. So let me get some people around me.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So that's how it looked.
So were you always interested in addition to like writing, like sports? Because I know you played football in high school, and you kind of like, helped out after college with the Brooklyn Tomahawks. So.
Yeah. So my mom put me in football young on. Again, single mom. You gotta get your boys around some men. You know what I mean? There's some rules and behaviors that you only learn from a man in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just standing up when a woman enters a room, you know what I mean, holding doors, stuff like that. Like, your moms can tell you to do it, but if you don't get it from the right source, you just going to be doing it out of action, not understanding the meaning behind the action. Like, yo, that's love.
Yeah.
That's love in a sense. So
for you, like, not only did football kind of like bring like discipline, but it also brought you community and kind of like, I don't want to say mentorship, but it kind of does, like mentorship, like brotherhood.
To this day,
like all that connection that football brought you. It brought you amazing, colleagues that you throw events with, have memories with.
Yep.
But like, what position were you on the football field? Just for the people to know.
I play offensive line and defensive line.
Which side was your favorite?
Offense. Offense is fun, man. It's crazy, but you a protector.
Yeah.
Right, so you holding somebody down, and then you got to trust everybody next to you to do their job. Yeah, I feel like defense is a little bit more individual, at least on the line.
Yeah,
on the line front. So.
Okay, because I feel like I was on the team, but I wasn't on the team. Like I had like a lot of issues. I was there.
He was there.
I was like I knew everybody, but I feel like for me, I feel like the line doesn't get the type of love and appreciation it gets until like I started watching football and like hearing you guys talk about it, where you can't do anything on offense if you don't have a line. Like you can have great receivers, you can have a great tight end, halfbacks, you can have, very great QB. But if nobody protects these people, you can't do anything. And I feel like when it comes to that, you move in the shadows, right?
Yeah, it's a lesson in self-esteem.
Yeah. But also like that connection of with you being like on O-line and D-line, a lot of your moves are quiet but like deadly, right? Especially in real life when it comes to your events, your curation, how you do the marketing, how you do all these things. If people don't know who Berto is, they should know. And I think that's how I was like that quiet thunder of you being like the O-line. It's like, yo, I'm protecting, but like you're also creating a safe experience. Like I've been to one of your events. It's amazing. But before we get there, I want to talk about all the experiences that you kind of learned in like professional life and how does that help you get into like doing these parties, right? So I'm just going to list some like jobs. I don't need to know where he works, so I'm just going to list some of my jobs because I like privacy. So you were a lead orientation assistant in RIT, and that's like an extremely, extremely social job. Like, how is that?
That was fun, right? I did orientation every year that I was in college. When people, this is a predominantly white institution, right? So when people come into school, they wanna see a familiar face, somebody that's going to just like make them feel like, all right, I'm not trapped or whatever. So that was my main goal, was to be that first like black face that you see. But to see that first familiar face, like, all right, but I'll be straight here, and then serve as like a mentor from that point on. But really, what that allowed me to do is know how to occupy white spaces, and still have our best interests at heart, right? Some people are in those spaces, and what they do to get there is they give up everything, right?
They have to give up. They have to like strip like their essence too.
Yeah, strip the essence, right? Like me, you might see me get jiggy to some real 2012 dance pop Swedish House Mafia shit, but I think that shit slapped. That's really me. I'm not faking it. But then at the same time, turn around, listen to the hip hop. You know what I mean? Get the kids involved at that time. So that's what it looked like in college.
So when you went into, because I know with RIT they have the co-ops. So one of them was a quality assurance internship. Don't need to talk about the company, but that was like one of your first internships, right?
Yeah, well, I've been working since I was like 13. because
Really? Oh,
New
well,
York
I don't
City.
have that, so you
Yeah,
can talk
nah,
about that too.
that's unlisted. You know what I mean? But yeah, I've been working since I was like 13. But that was like the first internship that was like of my adult life that was like, yeah, this is the world that I want to be in. I want to be where business meets technology. So that internship was I was working for a small social media company, and I was just really going through all of their code, making sure that everything works the way that they want it to work. So understanding that language of coding and being able to pinpoint like, yo, this is what's causing the issue right here, and it really like slowed me down, allowed me to think. It taught me a lot that I used in my events in terms of just like how things look, because code translates to graphics, right? So I'm looking at how I put together my, all my advertising. I'm looking at how how I'm using, Facebook or whatever algorithms to get in front of the people that I care about. And then another thing about it was that it was a social media company. So what I was doing, like with the access that I had, I was able to read like I was able to be like almost like a chat moderator and like see how people communicate and how people think, not only in our city because I was based out in Boston, but like globally. So I was really like soaking up like lingo just by seeing it and just seeing what people are interested in.
So, quick question, right? Because I just love having like people that look like us in like the technology space, because we both work in technology companies.
Yeah.
You don't need to know where those are. But what type of code were you looking? Because there's so many languages. So were you doing like the typical like Java, Python,
Yeah,
Ruby, like those type of
typical,
things?
typical.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Like, mind you, this was like, I am not object oriented. Like when when you get heavy into those languages, I'm not doing that. That's why I was just front end. Yo, this don't look right. So HTML5, basic stuff, like
Okay.
the basic stuff.
Because I think sometimes when people think in the tech space, they don't understand like the adjacent positions like yours. Because I'm like HR, so I'm
100%.
like the black face or like the filming face. They see is like a lot of people would come to me like I'm one of the few black faces, and now we have a lot more. It's like I'm glad I got to see you escorting me around and like, oh, okay, I'm not by myself. And it's like on you when you're doing that in RT, I can get that aspect. But also, we don't need to be like super masters of the code.
Not
Like
at
you just
all.
gotta have a basic and then kind of expound from there, which is
Yeah,
strong.
I used to, well, before the pandemic, I was speaking with kids like every summer over at the All-Star Code program, based out in the city. They just get some young high schoolers, and just push code in front of them, and get them coding and stuff like that. And when I come there as a business person in tech. That's how I consider myself. And I'm like, yo, this coding thing is hard. And because I tried it, I beat myself up at night. Like, yo, my code don't work. What am I gonna do? This is my life depends on this. And it's like, nah, bro, your life don't depend on no code that you writing. It's possible for you to be in this tech space without being the genius coder, and you'll still provide tons of value. And at the end of the day, you are not your job. Tell the kids like, yo, we trying to make better for our families. Like first and foremost, like other jobs will do that for you. What I want to do is take the pressure that we put on ourselves in different spaces to be number one. Like, nah, other people getting mediocrity off. Like we not gonna be mediocre, but we not gonna stress ourselves either. So
I think it's important to hear because I feel like me myself, I'm trying to like unlearn kind of like what we've come from, like Black Americans, Caribbean Americans, all those people, and just be like, look, it's not gonna kill you.
yeah,
And
not at all.
like you are you before you put a job title on it.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're talking about job titles, let's talk about like just other ones. You were solution architect training, right? I think it's part of like this development program you're part of. So you did a couple of things. That, then you became an actual architect, then you became a corporate business solution. So talk about like those three positions.
Yeah, so I was in. That's right after college. College was done. I started my first job like the next week after I graduated. Had to move to Atlanta, copped a crib on like Craigslist. It was crazy, but that job was a lot of these large corporations have their beginner programs that just get you in the door, and I was just about getting in the door. I was like, yo, I'm gonna get in the door, scope it out, see what the vibe is like, and see where I can move. At first it was just like a sales job, but then, I got in there, people were, my superiors was just kind of like, oh, nah, the sales thing is not, like, that's not your first interest. Like, yeah, you got a face, you could present, you great for sales, but you kind of smarter than the average person that we put in this role. So that's how I ended up being an architect, where it's like, yo, the salesperson comes to you, tells you everything that they heard, and then you design the solution based on that, and then they go back with it and sell it.
So you're like a problem solver. You're kind of like their the closer type of thing. Like if they had an issue, the salesperson
Yeah, 100%. And
Okay.
you know, people use that resource in different ways, but I would say that has been a continued trend throughout my career, just being a resource.
Okay, because even with your current company, you've gone through like 3 levels. So
Yeah.
first off, correct, congrats. So you were a client success manager, senior manager of customer success, and then you were director of customer success. Basically, all in that similar silo. And you know, kudos.
Thank
We
you.
have a
Thank you.
black face that's a director in that company. That's so much inspiration for that. But also just like, you know how to talk to people. We've talked about it from the beginning when it's like football, socializing, brotherhood, and just
Yep.
respect, being, you know, on point with your words, and you go into strong academic programs like Brooklyn Tech's no joke.
Nah, not at all.
RIT definitely not no joke. Like it was like these are programs and you crush it and you kill them live. Like talk about like that type of rise where you're just getting promoted. You're really making a name for yourself and like that.
How do I really feel about that? Like when I think about how I really feel about that, I usually tell people you got to have a dollar in a dream, right? They say you got to have a dollar in a dream, dollar in a dream. The dollar comes first, right? So I do my job to have that dollar so that I could dream outside of work. This job that I got, like I definitely, you know, gambled because I left my other job because I was like, yo, this is not, I don't feel comfortable in this space. Just left, ain't have nothing lined up. And I met with these good people. I really like their technology. The technology that we work with is all about understanding communities, right? So
Wow.
so it's like once you get your dollars collected, then you could really sit back and say, all right, what do I want? And it doesn't look like, yo, your job has to be entrenched in your purpose, but if your company aligns with your purpose, then you can mess with it. So kind of jumped in there, and whenever you start a job, you making a name for yourself. You know, my clients had nothing but good things to say about me. Was able to ascend. I got in there early, being that it was a startup, and you know, as startups grow, they build leadership. And you know, I think it's been any job that you in, you want to gain as much value as you give. So I definitely want to, you know, shout out to them for everything that they pour into me in terms of like giving me this leadership role and stuff like that.
And I definitely want to start off with the job titles because it just shows not only just how passionate you are outside of work, but you just touch on things like when you're helping the high school kids when it comes to the coding and when it comes to giving back to the community. But also, we want to talk about how you manage like the 9 to 5 is great, right? But the 5 to 9, like Berto Bash was like, what, 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
I have one every year.
Yeah.
I had one this year. Excuse me. But the first one was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
During the blizzard.
How did that happen? Because you know what, that's like kind of like one of the big pieces when I was doing my research on you, like your creative side, that launched a whole list of other events.
Yeah.
So like, how did that happen?
Yeah, I really, so I had moved back up north from Kentucky in like 2016, 14. Yeah, I moved back like 2016. And it's like, yo, everybody that stayed in out here was just like, yo, Bert's back or whatever, mad love. And then I quickly hit the streets and just started meeting people, like meeting everybody's new friends that they brought back from college, meeting, you know, all of their, because the city gets an influx of interns every year, or an influx of new young people that's trying to make it. So, you know, I got back, started meeting all these people, and then, you know, started just going out and seeing what the current landscape was for going out and having fun out here. And I was doing that, popping up, showing my face in places, making a lot of friends, and it reached a point where people was like, yo, you coming to my joint? I'm like, yeah, I'm coming. Then they'd be like, somebody asks you, are you coming to my joint? I'm like, yeah. Then they turn around and they be like, yo, he coming to my joint. Right? And I was like, wait. I'm like, wait, that's an ad? Like, that was an advertisement? Like, nah, bro. You know what I mean? People want to know where you going to be at. I'm like, all right, bet. Okay, bet. Then I've seen it happen a couple of times. I'm like, all right, bet. So there's pulling this. Somebody is benefiting from this. That's kind of crazy. Let me do something for my birthday. Let me see who rock with me.
Yeah, instead of you going to someone else's like event, you're like, I could probably do this myself, because the fact of, and I feel like that's something similar that you and I have, where it's like, for some reason people care where we go, like, and it's really weird, like, because of social media.
Because you just
like,
be chilling.
Yeah, I just be like popping, like, you know, we pop face, you know, Skip, Berto, like, we just go up to events. That's why I will see yours and like, all right, I have time, I'm gonna make sure I go. It's like, oh, you going? Then I'm gonna go. It's like, I mean, I'm going because I know Berto throws good events, but
Yeah.
I didn't know like my thing was like a
That's the thing,
cosign
though.
that cares so much, and I think it's like
That
very
cosign.
fascinating with that. So, like, this is before Dead Ass. So, like, is
Yeah,
Berto
that's before it.
was was Berto kind of like the first pinky toe into it, or were you always thinking of Dead Ass?
No. That was the pinky toe. Like,
Okay.
we had I had the birthday. I was like, yeah, I want to do something for my birthday, and it was a blizzard that day.
Yeah.
It was a blizzard, and we still packed out the venue.
Especially in New York, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You did good.
And people showed love, and I got drunk because it was still my birthday.
Yeah.
And I was on the stage. I did like a Kanye rant for like an hour. People sending me clips.
Damn.
People quoting me to this day, sending me shit like, yo, you remember when you said da da da? And I'm like, what? I shouted my mom's out on stage. She wasn't even there. I was just blacking out. But it was like a thing where people was like, yo, he was bugging out, but I loved it. Like, the energy, the other people that was there, like, people banged with it crazy. So it was like, all right, you got something. So then I sat down, sat on my hands for a little bit. Like, wow, this really worked out. And then my man's birthday was coming up in like May. So my birthday in January. I sat down for a little bit, looked at the books, because of course, you know, when you don't know nothing about the space, the venue like, yo, pay us this much. And, you know, I mean, they got over. They got over for that night. It was a blizzard. You wasn't going to make money anyway, but sure. You know what I mean? Here, take this. So I didn't understand the business at that point. So I sat back, learned a little bit more, went out some more. And my man's like, yo, I want to do something for my birthday. I'm like, all right, bet. Let's do something for it. You know what I mean? Me and him went out, scouted some locations. And it was like, I don't like working with places that are going to try to violate on the liquor sense or something like that. Like, people feel comfortable. What type of vibes do people feel most comfortable? Okay, when they bring their own liquor. All right, bet. If you can provide somebody with that space, then they gonna, you know what I mean, they gonna gravitate towards it. So that's when we did the first Dead Ass barbecue, and it was like it was his birthday / my event. We had people pop up. We did it in the middle of nowhere. Ubers were showing up. People was hopping out. Another packed joint. My man's was on the grill cooking. And I think my strategy or my thought process to event planning is I want to live my life and invite people to live it with me. Right? Like, however I want to live my life at that moment is how I'm going to invite people to live it with me. So, like, sometimes I like to go out real fiscally smart, have my own bottle, sip it through the night, and have a cool vibe. Or sometimes I want to get ignorant, hit a club, have a section, overspend on casa, and have a good time.
And that's what I really love about your events, because when I looked at your website, you know, Powered by Berto. It's Powered by Berto, right?
Yeah.
And like everything's under that moniker, right? But there's some events where it's like really kind of like classy, where y'all have, and we'll talk about it, like the art gallery. You had the
James Baldwin.
yeah,
Yep.
like those type of things where you have like when we see black faces dressed up and we're going to serious things, and then we have our cool down things. And I think you being able to like kind of like showcase both those sides, because for some reason we kind of get typecast, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's either people see us as like our professional selves, where it's like, oh, I can see you at a happy hour being, you know, Berto, and it's like all proper, like this is Bertram, and then the other one is like, oh, this is Berto. It's like, nah,
they one
thing.
Thing.
They're one thing, and we can be that. And I feel like with that, it's like, all right, cool. Berto Bash is down. Dead Ass barbecue. You're doing like even side hustle o'clock, or things like that. So I feel like for you don't really want it to only be parties. You want it to be
never.
like you said, living life with you and just seeing like
anything
like
that I need to do for my life. I'm gonna find a way to invite people to it. Okay. So side hustle o'clock was early on when I was trying to still figure out the framework within which all of the Dead Ass and the Powered by Berto stuff would work. And it became Powered by Berto as a result of side hustle o'clock. Like I was under a different name at that time.
What was that name?
Round Table.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know
R&D TBL. Just
snap. Okay, so I didn't know that, but I have seen that. Okay, cool.
Yep, that was the name that I had back then, because I was just like, all right, I want to bring people to the round table. And I was getting jiggy with that. And then we had the side hustle o'clock, and it was like, yo, round table almost kind of typecast you into a spot where it just forces you to be on some professional vibes. And they're like, yo, you want to open yourself up to more. So, you know, shout out to my homegirl Bianca. She was like, yo, I said something like, I was like brainstorming, yo, Powered by Berto. She was like, yo, the website is available. The social media is available. Go cop all of that. You got something. And I ran with it.
It's also something that I liked about Powered by Berto is that you got on your mic and you talking about like your Kanye rant, which probably wasn't even that bad. It's probably just a Berto love, like truly. What is that last song on? Who was it? Was it? I know J. Cole did an homage to someone like doing like that long. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I feel like that's what I would imagine yours to be.
Yep.
But now it's like,
Nah,
all
facts.
right, this is dead as is you, and I feel like you just make it easy to like behind your brand, because like even when we're looking at the thing with the pandemic, I'm just being honest, like I was kind of like, you know how people look at big name companies, see like, all right, cool, this is how we're working remote. Like we look at the Googles and the Amazons and the Apples. I was really like watching what you were doing, and when you said it was like, nah, we're not doing nothing until people can be safe. And I don't do comedy shows, like, you know me. People was like, yo, when are you gonna do a comedy show? I can't do it the way I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to be sick, because like we all have families. So for me right now, I'm pivoting to like until I'm able to do it the way I want to do it. If I can't do it the way I want to do it, I'm not even gonna try to play with the government. I don't really want anybody to be doing it, and that's what I admire about you.
It's more than one way to do things, right? Like I would say that I'm not doing no events. I ain't putting nobody in no space to get hurt, but I've done virtual stuff.
Yeah,
I've been present. You know, a lot of people that, how do I put this? A lot of people in the social spaces that are promoters or what have you, they're not really social people. They just like, I'm not really a social person. They don't like being around a lot of people or what have you. So, you know, what I was doing when the pandemic started and I seen that this was going to really go crazy, anybody was doing something virtual, I was supporting it. I'm pulling up. I'm on your stream. I'm whatever. Yo, here's a Cash App. I'm gonna support it, because at the end of the day, like I mentioned, you know, people support what they feel like they contribute to, and that comes through, you know, growing a relationship. All at the end of the day, at the bottom of every of my events is a relationship.
Yeah.
And if you pull up to my event not knowing me,
you're gonna
leave, and you're not gonna follow me on some like superficial shit, like, oh, he was lit in there. Like, nah, I pulled up on you and I asked you how was your day, and I asked you how you enjoying yourself. I asked you if you ate. You want to know where the bar at? Tell them I sent you. Shit like that. Like,
yeah.
Hospitality is a lost art. People ain't really hospitable like that.
That's a fact. And I feel like, you know what's cool? I want you kind of like to kind of go off about it. Like, the names that you have for like some of the dead ass things were just like, it's really not only timely, but it's like it fits you. Like you had Dead Ass Beloved, Dead Ass Slippery, Dead Ass Brunch, and Dead Ass University. Like, and I'm just looking at these images because I've been to like probably 1 or 2 events. I haven't gone to all of them. Are you like coming up with these just by yourself, or do you have like a little like mini think tank? This is all you? Or?
Yeah, no. I have a team,
okay.
But all of the naming and stuff is me.
Okay.
And then I go to the team and I'm like, yo, shout out to Jazz, shout out to Avi, shout out to Rosie. I go to them and I'm like, yo, what you think? I'm like, that's kind of corny. Like, that kind of works, or yeah, we could work with that. So, you know, that's what I do. I think about what I want to do, and then I like whittle it down to its essence, right? So I wanted to do a women's appreciation party, like a party where like women was like the front runners of it. So that was Dead Ass Beloved.
Okay, because I was like, this is dope, but I get it now. Like, there's like a subtle like context to it when it comes to each one.
Yeah.
When it came to your team, like, were these like people that were like from the beginning, or these people along the way that just want like they just saw what you were doing and it's like, I really want to help you get there? Like, how did that team form?
Nah, so like again, everybody's contributing.
Yeah.
Even if they don't know they contributing. Like, these are my friends, people I consider family already. So like a lot of people I went to college with. At that first Dead Ass barbecue, my homeboy from high school, from junior high, he was on the grill cooking. The second one of my homeboys that I met out in the city just coming up, that live in Brooklyn, I was like, yo, bro, you mind getting on the grill? He was like, nah, no problem. Hopped on the grill, cooked. Everybody loved the food. It's like, it's real. The word gets overused, but it's very, very organic. Like, people come to the vibe and think that they come in to party or whatever, but your presence is contributing. Your presence in the space adds to it. So that's why, you know, yeah, it's an open invite. But if you watch out, if you ever bought one of my tickets, I be on my joint like a hawk. My shit will sell out on you by accident. Yeah.
Not even
because
on
I'm like,
accident.
Yeah. You know
and I just think that seeing the evolution of all these things, it really, You know what? It feels like a movie experience because you know what? You have sequels, right? Like when I was looking at the numbers and it was like, all right, cool. I remember the first Berto Bash was like something 99 to 2000, right? And then you have like Dead Ass Brunch 2, Dead Ass Barbecue 2, Peer Pressure with the Brunchaholics. You have Berto Bash 3. Then you had to Believe That with the In Life, Dead Ass BBQ 3. You would think these are like movies, but like these are experiences. And I feel like when it comes to you at the core level, you're really good at not only just creating these spaces for the experience, but like you said, core, like relationships, you're really good at that. And I just feel like looking at all of these events and like, you know, shout out to Bear Canvas Sounds, and like you get to work with Basque and we work with
Paradigm.
Yeah, Paradigm and George, like DJs. Like, how did you even get to meet with some of these collaborations? Like, I really want to like dig in deep, like take time. Like, I'm gonna go in order. Let's start off with Basque and Bear Kava's sounds. Like, how did that partnership come about? Because I know for you, you can do things kind of like by yourself, right? But when things come that make sense to partner with someone, how does that manifest for you?
Again, I'm gonna go back. These stories is funny. We're not sharing no names, so these is all funny stories, and life just works out, bro. Like, to be completely honest, like none of this. I have never reached out to somebody and be like, yo, I want to collab with you. It's been like people that's been in my life that are like, we both doing something at the same time on some Issa Rae shit. Like, it's only right to just reach next to you. Mm-hmm. So Bear Canvas Sounds, that's George. George went to Tech. We played football together. He was like, yo, I'm DJing this. He's the one that hooked me up with the very first venue for the first Berto Bash. He was like, yo, I got you. Helped me out, connect me with the people. You know what I mean? So then when it came time to actually do something together, it just worked out perfectly. Basque, shout out to James. We met in college. Like, he was a friend's friend. And he went to a neighboring school. And his people came to our school for a party. And a fight broke out.
Wow.
And everybody scattered and hopped in a whip. So I ran to my whip, hopped in, and he came to my door like, yo, I'm good. I'm like, yo, get in. He skated out. Like, get up out of the trouble. And then years later, you know what I mean? Yo, you doing something, I'm doing something. All right, let's work. Remember that time? We laugh about it. And I think every one of my connections could be related to a life experience before brands.
Okay, so we just talked about Barrick, Canvas, and Basque. Like, that's the same thing with Brunchaholic and the In Life. Like, how did you meet these people? Like, is it also school, or like you just happened to run into them? Just like life?
Life, bro. Brunchaholic, shout out to Lauren. Lauren went to Tech, and you know, I think she had something real dope, and I wanted to be a part of it. And we was just kind of like, again, we just out and about, being young in the city. And like, yo, what you doing? I'm doing this. What you doing? I'm doing this. How can these two things work together? Like, all right, bet. Let's do it. And then like, and then it goes back to the concept of, would I go? If it wasn't for my brand, would I do this by myself? Yes, I would. Okay. Invite my brand to live my life with me. Let's go on this yacht party real quick and have a good time. Let's go to Belize. Let's go wherever, because I would actually do this by myself. So
that's crazy. And I know with Paradigm, we do have some peers that went to high school with us.
Yep.
I think like
Duke.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's part of that, and it's just like working with them. Like, you probably been like kind of like with them for like a while, because you know Duke. Like, how is that like relationship, that partnership?
We probably been doing stuff together for like 2 years now. Mm-hmm. It's a great partnership, right? Because, you know, they've been at it longer. They've been at it in a couple more cities. So a better, stronger network. With these spaces, it's all about, like, you know, consistency. So they could actually go up to a venue and be like, yo, I've been doing stuff for you for a while. Yo, hold it down. And it's good to be in those rooms. I'm all about access. So really, when I'm able to gain access while working with people that I actually bang with, where I don't got to act like an intern or some shit like that.
Nah, like a respectful thing.
Respect, exactly.
Yeah, because I think with you, it's not even like it's big on respect. Do you hear that static?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to keep that rolling, because you know what? We're going to power through. Powered by Berto. I don't know what happened. Maybe the levels were a little too high, so it's probably like a little staticky thing. I think I got it. We're going to keep talking. But as I was saying before, I was really interrupted by my system. That's crazy. You be your own mans. But Focus. There it happens. Relationships, partnership, respect. Yes, good, cool. I think sometimes when it gets to like throwing events and making relationships in this city, because I came into it differently. Like I was just like quote unquote a socialite, just going to all the events before I was like hosting events, before I started comedy and acting. I didn't really know what I wanted, right? Yeah. And I feel like the people that I wanted to work with were like, they looked at me, not even like they were like big time. It was like, yo, I'll show you this or I'll talk to you about this. And then it'd be people that would kind of like, you know, throw their nose at it being there. And that's okay because, you know, everyone has a reason why they are the way they are. I feel like for you, I've never heard anything bad about you and I've never heard anything bad about the people that you really work with. And that's something that's very rare in this space because a lot of things that we've kind of come to find out in the last 6 to like 12 months, not every thing is a safe place. Not every group is a safe group. And I think that's something to know of like a great curation process. Like you just like, look, I know how to pick people. But what I wanted to talk about, even though it's kind of short-lived, was that podcast featuring everyone. Because I really checked it out, and I was like, I kind of wish y'all continue, but like, just talk about how that concept. Because that was like under Powered By Berto, it was like a collaborative thing.
No, that was collaborative. That was the homie Benji, homie Carl, my sis Vana. Man,
there was so many people.
Yeah, it took a lot of people to make that happen. And that was a really fun time, man. I had a lot of fun doing it. How did that come together? It was really like everybody's connected. One of my mans from tech, shout out to Mike, connect me with some people that he's close with, and then it was just like, yo, I like your vibe. Yo, I like your vibe too. Let's do something. Like, you know, that in that sense, I was very much more so like talent. Like, yo,
yeah, because you guys are in front of the camera.
Yeah, come through and host this. But then over time, we did a couple episodes. It's like, yo, you can't be talented without putting in your input. So it's like, yo, let's tweak this, let's do that. And then with what I understand about social media from promoting my own events, I was able to take some clips and, you know, cut it and get it propped up. That was a great experience. That taught me a lot about just speaking.
Okay.
But what happened was everybody just has personal projects, and that's another thing that comes with respect. Like, when we stopped doing it, nobody was like, yo, why we not doing this? Why you not doing it? Like, yeah, everybody went on to do their personal projects and still be supported in their personal projects. Like, Benji has Black Man Feel. I got a wristband on right now.
Yeah.
So he went from that to started focusing on just getting black men into therapy, bro. Like, that's huge value.
So it's like one of those things where it's like a temporary like Avengers kind of like link up, and then you kind of like made y'all completed the mission y'all had to do, and then y'all kind of separated to do y'all own thing.
Yeah, everybody had to go back to their own universe. Yep.
Yeah, I mess with it. I just feel like, you know, it kind of sucks to see something that would probably be really dope, but everything's timing, and it doesn't mean that you can't do something like that in the future. But it's just good to know, like, all right, y'all still cool. Cause, you know,
everything takes curation, right?
Yeah.
So there's people that like they stop curating and they just kind of let the vibe be on autopilot, and people could tell.
Yeah.
People could tell that, and the good thing about all of us was on some like, nah, if we not actively curating this joint, because every episode we were inviting people to be in the room with us.
Yeah.
Right. So if we aren't actively curating this, we can't do it.
Yeah, because then you're gonna feel like you're kind of like on autopilot, and you should never have that.
You'll ruin the product.
Okay. So you've done like that kind of like visual audio podcasting. You've done events. You've partnered with amazing groups in the city. You've done things in different parts of the country. Yeah. What other things do you want to accomplish? Because you could do pretty much anything. You've hosted your own events. You've set it up. Like, what else do you want to do?
What else do I want to do? Pandemic is slowing everything up. But right now, excuse me. Right now, I'm working with some good friends. We got this thing going, Mo Better Live. Mm-hmm. So we can do like a virtual writers room. Right now, it's only virtual because of COVID. But once that's done, we want to like get people to go be in a space with each other, a good mental space, and write, like free write, poetry, music, whatever. Just write, get those feelings out in a safe environment that makes you feel creative.
Is it similar to so like in October it's called Inktober, and like November it's the Norama. It's like those people where they challenge you to write every day. So it's similar to like that type of kind of like writer coalition of accountability. Like, look, we may not write about the same things, but I want you to challenge yourself to keep writing. So something like that,
Exactly
like a
that.
safe space.
So right now we're doing it like every other week on IG Live.
Okay.
But that's what I want.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah, we gotta get you that honey tea, bro.
That's what we want to do. Like in person. We doing it online right now.
Yeah.
But we want to get that in person. And again, it's all about like stuff. Events come to me in my sleep.
Yeah.
It's really anything that I want to do for myself, plus people.
Okay.
Right. So I wanted to get back in that writer's bag. A friend hit me and was like, "Yo, we've been doing." A friend hit me and they was like, "Yo, we've been doing little writers groups for throughout the pandemic." I was like, "Damn, put me down." I'm like, "Yo, I want to write. I got feelings that I want to get out." Got down, and then it's becoming something more than that. So I can't guess right now at this very, very moment what I want to, like, what's the next thing that I want to do.
Yeah.
But right now, that's the biggest thing that I'm like, I can't wait till the pandemic is done so that we can, like, get these people together and, like, let them share and, like, get some good drinks and get that, like, Love Jones vibe where everybody's in the spot just chatting. And
I was about to ask about that, not to cut you off, because I was like, because you know what? I only touched on the writing thing because technically for you to create, everyone has to, like, write.
Yeah.
Who were, like, your favorite writers growing up? Because we didn't really touch on that. We talked about you kind of, like, worked on the blogging, but, like, who were the people that you were reading as, like, yo, I kind of want to, because before you kind of transitioned to, instead of it just being by your words, it was more by your actions and your presence. Because, like you said, your presence is a contribution. But, like, who are you looking up to? Because this is really dope that you, as a writer,
I did
space.
not like... I did not like books growing up. I did not like writing until I was like a teenager, and even then, like, I wouldn't say like, somebody would be like, "Yo, I read everything from this one writer." Like that's not my speed either. Like, I have like my heroes. You mentioned them earlier already. Like my heroes, James Baldwin and Diddy. So just listening to how Baldwin can tell you about your life. Like, your life could be hard as hell, and he'll tell you about it so eloquently that you like, my life's still hard, but I like the way you say it. So, that's somebody that I look up to. I look up to those type of black scholars. Outside of that, what I do is I read a lot of, like, I read more so like biographies. I read biographies and self-help books. I don't be dealing with the fiction too much. So, like, reading about Baldwin, reading about Eldridge Cleaver, reading about Ray Charles, like reading about his life. I couldn't put that book down.
That was because you know what's interesting? I do the same. I really love like reading people's like life stories, so I can learn from like their wins and like their losses. But like his life was just crazy. But I feel like you even having a quote with Diddy and James Baldwin. We talked about James Baldwin. In a way, you kind of are like Diddy. Like but. You don't have bad deals, but don't respect Diddy just in case I do work with you in the future. But like, how does that like that larger than life lavish thing where it's kind of like you guys have the privilege to be in my presence just like I am yours, but like look, let's have some fun together. Like at what point were you like a Diddy fan? Like were you like when he was Puff Daddy, was like P Diddy, or like just Diddy? Like which part?
I would say I'm a Diddy fan all along. Like
so all the way from the Puff Daddy days.
He's always been a hard worker. Always projected himself as a hard worker, but then having a good time. Like, they think when you're a hard worker, some people just be like a hard worker all the time and have their head down all the time. And it's like, yo, nah, you can still have fun. And then when I sprinkle the Baldwin into it, it's really just about, like, being able to convey that to all people. So, yeah, Puff is... That dude is... Yeah, that's a fun dude right there, yo.
Yeah.
Like, if you stop and like, extract... anything, like a lot of people might see something that they don't like and then they latch on to the thing that they don't like. Cause there's things I don't like about Puff. Like he may have put some people in bad situations or whatever, but that's also just what you hear. You're not in the room. You can't speak to his own self-preservation or what was necessary to get him where he is right now. But when I look at the big picture, I'm like, yeah, he did it. I was reading his article in Essence about him having the daughters and taking care of them. After Kim passed, and I was like, yo, look, at the core of this is a human that's navigating. You got to be happy for anybody that's navigating 2020, let alone the world before that. Like, we in a weird space, so you really got to just respect everybody.
No, it's a fact. I feel like that type of perspective kind of brings clarity to a lot of things. Like, I know I was joking about the bad deals with Diddy, but like once I kind of like study it, a lot of times people be saying it's bad deals, but some people didn't really put the work in to become who they needed to be, right? Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, you can only get so much coddling.
If everybody got a bad deal, what's a bad deal?
That's a great question. Because then it's like, is there such thing as a good deal? Because then it's like, how is everything a bad deal? Like,
if everybody got a bad deal, then really, you gotta really take a step back. I don't listen to everything that I hear. I'm more so just like peep shit. Just keep peeping until you make your own, you know, you make your own conclusion.
Mm. So to close off, because I know you partner with a lot of people, and I know you've been to a lot of events. Can you like list people that you haven't partnered with, like maybe hosts, maybe other promoters that are kind of like on your radar, like, you know, hopefully in the future you guys can cross paths. Not like you're just gonna like randomly, but like you say, it's overused, but organically. Like, who would you want to like co-host an event with, or who would you like kind of want to produce an event with, if you could think about it? You don't gotta say me because I'm here. I just want to let you know. Don't do that. I'm still coming to your events.
Okay. I want to do something fashion related. Yeah, I definitely want to do something fashion. I want to do something fashion related. So I want to do whatever I want for my own life plus people. So I want to do something fashion related. There's a lot of fashion brands out here that's killing it. Yeah. So something fashion related. May it be like somebody's like fashion
maybe like
week.
Tier. I don't know, like
and just a fashion week show.
New York
like
fashion
try
week.
To see how I could like be involved, be a fly on the wall. Shit. Me, I'm humble, bro. I'll check names at the door to be involved. Like, yo, let me see something. So something fashion related, number one. Number two, something like photography related, videography. When I had left my job, I was working out at a public hotel. Like, I used to get up every day like I had work and just go to the hotel and look for jobs from the hotel. And I was there with my mans, Mark C. and with Created by Gerard. And they taught me so much, bro. They taught me.
Wow, you got to chill with them. Like, those are brilliant minds right there. Yeah, so you got to. Wow, that's crazy.
I was chilling with them like every day for like a month, like every day. Like, I was even like, yo, are you about to go shoot? Yeah, I could come. Like, I'm not in that space, but I just want to see and soak it up. And I think like that is an event style that's possible. You know what I mean? You might go to somebody might be like, yo, oh, we doing LinkedIn photos for an hour, pull up. Okay. People pull up, they get their photo, then they start networking. Next thing you know, you hear from somebody that you met there, and you get a bag, and then you connect that bag to where you got it from, that event. And then you remember who threw that event. Oh, Berto threw that.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, I really like this. Because you know what's interesting? It's like a child exuberance that you have with some of these things where you basically be like, because for me, it's like very similar. It's like, I'll just sit and observe, right? And then it's just like, how can I make other people sit and observe and partake in this in a cool way? And then I would pay to go to an event if I want to get my LinkedIn picture, and it doesn't need to be changed. And then like meet with people. So I think that's something that I really love at how you move. You know what I'm saying? With the intention that you move behind it. That for other people on the outside, it's like, all right, Berto hosts a lot of great parties. Berto hosts a lot of great experiences. But it's past that. It's like you really want to connect people from so many different backgrounds that probably would have never met each other. But because you got to hang out with a lot of people, where it's like, you are a big name that hangs out with big names, right? So I know you're very humble with it, but it's just like, that's impact. And that's something that from like when you were younger with your mom trying to have you with around these people to have the discipline.
I love that word.
What?
I love the word impact.
When I learned that word, especially when I have to do presentations, like when someone says like you're impactful, that is like one of the best compliments.
Don't take it lightly.
Because that means you really are putting a force of change into it. Yeah. And I just wanted to, give you your flowers now with this interview and just seeing you work.
I definitely appreciate that.
Nah, bro. It's just, I had to, because I just see how you work. It's just so lovely to see, bro. It's like an experience. And I'm really proud of you. And I'm looking forward to so many other things when we get past this stupid pandemic. You know what I'm saying? But yo, Berto, tell them all of your social media, your website, and all those things so they can keep up with you.
Keeping up with me is easy. PoweredByBerto.com. I put all my new events that's coming up on there, and then IG, Powered by Berto. Those are my first two. That's the first source of truth. Okay. If you want to find out about me, you hit the IG or you hit the website, and I'll send you wherever you need from there.
Bad. Yo, guys, As you know, it's another episode. This is Skip from BK, host of Dreams Money Can Buy. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, share on Covalpa. That's COVEALPA. And just follow us on there. Keep up with Berto, keep up with myself. If you don't know who I am, Skip from BK on everything, then I don't even know why you're here. And if you, that's wild, you should follow me too. So follow my guy Berto, keep up with his events, follow the brand, and we'll see you next time, guys. Peace. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you just finished the episode, and of course, if you watch season 1, we got post-credit scenes real quick. So definitely shout out to Berto for spending time to just talk about his adventures and how he even got into party promoting, curation, and just becoming a master vibe. So stay in touch with Berto on Twitter and Instagram, just Powered by Berto, all together, no underscores, anything like that. And also his website, poweredbyberto.com. And when it comes to keeping in touch and stuff like that, you should want to keep in touch with your host, with the mostest. Shout out to me. Follow me on Skip from BK on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, even though I'm never there, but I got some pieces up there, but just keeping to know of what I'll be doing in the future. Definitely shout out to Slept On Creatives, who are the kind of like our audio engineers, the visuals, making sure everything sounds right, looks right. They just make everything look so masterful. So you can follow them on Twitter on SO_creatives, or on Instagram, Slept On Creatives. So that's all together. And last but not least, it is Covalpa that houses this podcast, which we'll have a handful of more in the future. We have some articles here and there. We're going to work on the consistency, to be honest. But, this is where you kind of get to know future episodes, what's in the pipeline, things we're trying to work on. So just stay tuned and hit that to follow, subscribe button when you can. And we'll see you for the next episode. All right, peace.